If you run a company or manage a team, hiring qualified people quickly can make or break your business. Imagine a position of need going unfilled for weeks or even months because you just can't seem to find the right candidate. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. This makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts. You only pay for results on your job post. Just in the last minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Now that is fast. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. Listeners will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/BWN. Go to Indeed.com/BWN right now to support this podcast. Indeed.com/BWN. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, friends. We welcome you to the Sickos. Oh, what a wild Masters week, where the amateur champ decided to take a leak in Ray's Creek. To an errant shot hitting a caddy's butt cheek. While the world's number one sat down in the trees, and the eventual winner fell to his knees. The ever-fluctuating levels of "we are so back" to "it's so over" had us all on an emotional roller coaster. Now we'll talk about the recent events in the past. We welcome you to the Sickos Committee podcast.
Are we going to get in trouble for that? Yeah, I don't know what that music is. Are we going to get in trouble for it?
I can't imagine that they can hear it well enough to copyright strike us. It's fine.
Okay.
I think the audio was bad enough for the music. It was bad just for the music, not for you. Like, you sounded fine.
You were perfect.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of April 13th, 2025. I realized today we're going to record on 420.
Yeah, I guess we are.
We are.
Easter Sunday 420.
420 is Easter.
WrestleMania 420 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how Jesus came back from the grave? Because he was lit.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, like, he did rise from the grave. You could say he was high above the grave.
Mm-hmm. He was
gonna have to workshop that a little bit.
He was in his tomb smoking everyone out. That frankincense and that myrrh and that incense.
Actually, he was just in there for 3 days hotboxing.
Mm-hmm. The stone rolled away, and all of a sudden it was just
massive cloud of smoke.
Then Jesus took a monster vape hit and blew it out and said, "I'm back, bitches." 420, what?
I mean, who hasn't had a friend that disappeared for a weekend?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. That's just a long weekend. That's not anything that interesting.
Huh.
Folks, as always, I am Jordan, and with me tonight I have Commish, Pitt Girl, Beth, and Arthur on the ones and twos. Commish, how are you, sir?
Oh, good. Had a fun weekend. The Coyotes finally scored a goal.
Yes, they did.
We scored some goals. I was very proud of this. Who
are the Coyotes again, Commish?
It's my youth soccer team that I coach. And my son is on the team. I am coaching 7 to 8 year old kids that don't necessarily follow directions well. And it's an interesting experience as a coach, but I am
Jordan from the Sickos Committee here. I have a question.
Yes.
sounds like you're blaming your players for the lack of focus.
Well, I'm actually going to blame the sun. We had an 8 a.m. game, and we were on the side with the sun in the face of our goalie. Our goalie was unaware of the sun just being in his face, and he allowed 4 goals in the second quarter, leading us to be down 5-0 at halftime. That could be on the coach for the lack of preparation, but the coach couldn't see either with his sunglasses. But Coach Commish did plead with the refs, and we were able to switch sides, and we finally got on the board for the first time this year. Sun aided, so to speak.
Who builds an east-west field like that? It just feels like a wild choice.
Were you playing at AT&T Stadium? Is that so what it's called?
Yes, we were playing at Jerry World. The sun was in our eyes, but we were able to get on the board, down 5-0. We fought all the way back to 5-3. Just ran out of time, which was good. We scored goals. We celebrated on the sidelines. It was a lot of fun when we scored our first goal. It was an amazing thing. I'm going to do a little bit of bragging on my son. He was the one that scored all 3 goals for us.
Oh, a hat trick.
Yeah, he had a hat trick. So we're down 5-3, and then it's a natural hat trick. He scored 3 in a row, and that was how the game ended. So
is that what you call that? That's a natural hat trick?
Yeah, when you score 3 goals in a row, it's a natural
I did not know that. Okay, yeah. Interesting.
A natty hattie.
Pitt Girl, how are you?
It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yeah. Obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend. I know it doesn't hit the same way. I'm sorry. Listener, I do want to take this moment to remind you that as you are listening to this, it is tax day. If you have not filed your taxes, do it now.
Man, that's up to the state of Pennsylvania at this point.
We are not here to give you financial advice. However, we are here to gently remind you that Tuesday is the day by which you are supposed to have filed your federal income taxes.
Hey, I'll give everyone financial advice. Listening to this podcast is a write-off. So whatever you're doing while you're listening to this podcast, you can write that off.
We don't know.
Also,
we don't know how it works.
All crimes are legal.
We're the purge.
I mean, I'm team just take the standard deduction, so I cannot condone writing this podcast off.
Always take the standard deduction.
That's just
for 99.9% of people, that's the correct choice anyway.
It saves you work.
If you make enough money and do enough things to itemize your taxes and not take the standardized deduction and have it be worthwhile, what the fuck are you doing listening to us?
To get your financial advice.
No, they're here to save us and sponsor us as an angel investor, and we can do this full time for a living.
That's true. That's
right.
true.
Don't insult them.
If you are itemizing on your taxes, email us.
Itemize us as a business expense.
I'd love to be one of your items.
Us. We would love to be one of your items.
Anyway, obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend made tiramisu today. Yeah, he made it while I was asleep too. And then I got up and I was doing some other stuff, and then he just walked into the living room, and I was like, "Is that tiramisu?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Did you make that?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Wow, you do so many things at like 7 o'clock in the morning while I'm sleeping."
Does he use your cold brew to soak the ladies' fingers?
Oh no, we have he bought an espresso machine, and he hand ground and pulled like 5 shots of espresso for this.
Hey, that's how you know it's classy. Beth, how are you?
I've come unstuck in time and space. Everything is great. There were 5 inches of snow yesterday, and today it was over 60 degrees. All inside of the same state, which hashtag Pennsylvania in one of the bracketing seasons. Which flavor of spring is it presently, Pitt Girl?
It was like 58 and pleasant enough to be sitting outside with like a hoodie and a blanket today.
Are we counting last week as third winter, which would make it true spring next, or are we still in the spring of deception?
I think we're still in the spring of deception, but it hasn't snowed here, so it's like
Okay. I was way up in the Poconos, and we got absolutely hammered up there.
Womp womp. Oh, can you tell the listeners about the piano bar guy?
So
please.
So I was at a music educators conference, and they had recently we were in a large all-inclusive water park including indoor resort. And they had just opened up a piano bar in December. So the piano bar apparently only has 2 piano playing employees. These guys just sort of cycle through. And when we were there last, because this conference rotates around, this place did not exist. And so the first night, it's literally, you get into it by going into the back room of the steakhouse. There's like a sneaky door and you like go through there, and then there's like a secret piano bar inside.
Piano speakeasy.
Right. It took a while to figure out just how to get into this place. So we got in, and none of my fellow music educators had discovered this place. It was population, the piano guy, the one bartender, and me, and like the 2 people who I came with. And I'm like, oh, no problem. So I got into the conference software and I'm like, hey guys, did you know there's a piano bar?
Beth, you're so mean.
I'm a bad person. That's what the story boils down to. And so they went from having no crowd whatsoever to you could not put, like, we had to have been violating the fire code in ways that hadn't been tried yet in this space. We were a roof collapse away from like a serious nightclub disaster. And this poor guy who's not been on this job long, and who is, as piano bar guys go, I would put him in like bottom half, but like top of the bottom half. So he's not bad. Like he's perfectly serviceable. The problem is that when you're a piano bar guy, and this is one of I was a piano bar person at one point. This is a job that I held post-college. The problem with this job is that half of the people in your audience at all times are certain that they can do their job better than you can. The problem for this guy is that he was at a music educators conference, which means that those half of the people were right and knew it. And at one point, after this guy is like sort of ham-fisting his way through a number of like standards here, he made the quip of, we're like, you know, like, do you play anything other than Billy Joel? Because he had played like 5 Billy Joel songs, none of which had been requested in a row, with varying degrees of well. He did pull out a harmonica for Piano Man, and I respect that, but he played it very badly, so I don't respect that. He's like, guys, I know every single Billy Joel song that was ever written. I've never written Scenes from an Italian Restaurant faster on a request card in my life. I knew in a measure and a half that he was in trouble. It did not get better from there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
I did tip him $2.
Wow. Oh, big spender Beth. Okay.
I'm his teacher. What do you want?
I have just a question.
Sure.
Because I'm not super into like going out to bars and such. So is a piano bar a bar where there's like an employee that plays the piano there?
Correct. Sometimes that person actually works for the bar. Sometimes that person is an outside contractor.
So have you? Okay, you've never been to a Pat O'Brien's, right?
Or a Howl at the Moon.
Or a Howl at the Moon. There's actually like piano bars in New Orleans. Pat O'Brien's off of Bourbon Street. There's like dueling pianos. There's 2 pianos facing each other.
Right. So
I put it in the chat. Yeah.
I've been to there. I don't know if it's still there because this was pre-pandemic. But there was a Howl at the Moon, like in downtown Pittsburgh, that I think I went to once. And there would be like 2 pianos, I guess, so they could like trade off or like take breaks.
Right.
I was just curious because I feel like there are some bars when you say, oh, it's a blank bar, it's like you go to do the activity. You know what I like? If I was like, it's a karaoke bar, that implies that the people that go there are the ones that, you know, you don't hire a singer for that. So I was just curious because I was just reminded of the movie I just saw last week. It was called Drop.
I was hoping it was Conclave, and I just really didn't understand that movie, but okay.
No, man. I loved Conclave, but
Dave Cardinal at the piano bar.
So this movie was called Drop, and it's basically this. She's a widow, like her husband's died, and she's going on her first date after that has all happened, and she has a kid. And the movie goes through all of these things to let you know, like keep reminding you, like she has a kid, she has a relatively small child. I'm not sure exactly how old, like more than a toddler, I don't know, like 5-6 years old, something like that. But the whole time this movie keeps trying to like characterize her, let you know, like remind you, like, yeah, she's a mom, she's a small child. I just kept thinking of Commish. Like I kept being reminded of Commish. And there's like a recurring bit in the movie where she keeps being like, yeah, like the only song I know at this point is Baby Shark. And it's just like it was like a couple different bits like that. And every time I'm watching this movie and they're trying to tell you like how much of a parent this woman is. I'm like, oh, that's like Commish.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, we start with some big news this week.
Big news.
We have crowned a new bowling champion for the NCAA. Youngstown State, the Penguins, step forward.
Go Penguins.
They
waddle forward. Perhaps.
Waddle forward, yes. They are partying on Heard Island tonight with their tariffs, but they have a national title. The Penguins
Can't tariff titles.
Penguins took down Nebraska, took down the Shockers, and then took down the champion Jacksonville State on their way there. This was a legendary run for Youngstown State.
It was. I mean, it was fun to watch them do this because them knocking, like they upset Nebraska, and then we got the picture of the tournament right after that. They upset Nebraska, and there was a gentleman in an inflatable Penguins costume slamming Miller Lights.
King.
As the, everyone will see this picture and go, hell yeah, photo of the tourney shows up. One of our followers, Sarah Rudolph, was actually checking in from the Suncoast Bowling Center, and she reported on it was in the morning, and this guy is slamming Miller Lights in a penguin costume.
Well, it's better than that, Commish. Do you know who Sarah Rudolph is? She works for Conference USA.
She does.
Yes, she's one of their assistant directors for social media or something like that. So not only was she there, not only she's a follower of ours, she also works for Conference USA, because Conference USA, of course, had 3 of the 4 spots in that final. 3 of the
4 squads, yes, except independent Nebraska.
Youngstown State was the 3 seed in this contest, which made it even more of a big deal that they won this thing. This was... I'm going to back up around, because Jacksonville State had to come back from way down to the Shockers in the best of 7 series. The way this works is they have the first round, it's what they call total pinfall, which basically every bowler bowls 5 bowlers, each bowl a full game, and you add up all their scores. The second one is called a Baker's something. It's bowling shit. Don't ask me. But if you tie on that, it's a best of 7 games, and you go through. And Jacksonville State was down 3-1, I believe, to the Shockers, and had to come back to win that 4-3, which was very impressive. But then got to the final, and the Penguins just couldn't. Penguins took them out. This was such a fun thing. I love getting involved in the bowling tournament every year because it's, I don't know, very much us. This is a great sport that's people are passionate about, and not anyone, no one covers this thing. Everyone's first response is, holy shit, they have bowling in the NCAA?
Yeah, there was it's kind of incredible to see. I love the teams that were involved in this, like Wichita State, Youngstown State, Jack State, Nebraska. All these teams have really, really passionate fan bases. Yes. And as soon as any one of their sports are up for a title, it's like an activation cell for these folks on the internet. It's just like, go Penguins. It's like, Nebraska's in something. Nebraska fans are already activated for everything, but they get jumped. They go. They're ready to go. And then Wichita State is very, very passionate fan base. I know they don't have football anymore, but they are incredibly passionate about baseball. Their basketball team used to be one of those, pull those March Madness upsets and make runs to the Final Fours and stuff like that. Like, all these fan bases are amazing. Jack State also, because we're well aware of them in Conference USA, and politicking for them to get into a bowl game in their first year non-eligibility. But it's very awesome and kind of heartwarming to see everybody get involved and start watching and pay attention to stuff like this when we bring attention to it. It's so much fun.
There's one Jacksonville State bowler. I have to shout her out. I can't remember her name, but I've seen her bowl several times now, and she bowls two-handed. Like in the hand like normal, but has her hand on the other side of it too, and she wings it down there. It gives her a great spin, and the pins go absolutely bonkers when she hits them. It's amazing to watch. Because, you're always trying to, put the spin on it. You can tell I'm not a bowler because when I do it, my ball just goes straight forward into whatever awful direction I've shot it into. But the really great bowlers have the spin on the ball. And man, with that extra hand, she got so much spin. It was very impressive.
Like the final game went 7, but it was like one of those, like Youngstown State went up 3-1. And you're like, oh no, are they going to blow the lead because the defending champs, Sac State, are coming back? And Youngstown State was able to pull it out and not blow the 3-1 lead. And they won it. I want to give a shout out to a bowler on the Youngstown State side. Love the nickname. And it went with the Vegas tournament. It was called Jackpot Jade.
Ooh.
So she was on fire for them. She basically sealed, I think, game 4. And it was just, it's awesome to do this. And I think my favorite part of this was I got to bevel the Penguin Man. So I was definitely pulling for Youngstown State so I could bevel the guy in the penguin suit.
This final was on ESPNU. It was actually on television, which is great, and ESPN Plus. They had commentators who were trying their absolute best. Clearly not commentators who've done a lot of commentating. They're very knowledgeable about bowling, but less so about being commentators.
Hey, ESPN, if you're listening, we don't know anything about bowling, but we do know about talking about stuff. We'll talk about the NCAA championship.
Oh, we'll get very excited.
We're probably cheaper than the bowling guys.
I would say yes.
I guarantee you we're cheaper than the bowling guys. We also crowned another champion on the same day on Saturday. Congrats to Western Michigan, who is now the Division I men's ice hockey champion.
Woo!
Let's go Broncos.
Their first school championship, national championship, since cross country in 64 and 65.
Oh, wow.
That was their
only other two.
Their only other 2 championships with that. So, one of our committee members said we got to give a shout out to Chaz, who is a Western Michigan super fan. So shout out Chaz. I'm sure you're loving this victory for Western Michigan. I mean, their Frozen 4 path was absolute chaos.
Wild. Just wild shit.
They were up 2-0 against the defending champions, Denver. And then Denver came back and tied it 2-2, sent it into OT, went to double OT, and then they hit the game winner with 26 seconds off the clock in double OT to win that. I got to put the photo of Buster the Bronco, the old mascot that had the snow on the nostrils.
Ah, yes, the zooted Buster.
Yes, the zooted Buster. And then I got to throw the John Boyce tweet over it. Why watch overtime playoff hockey when you can simply snort cocaine and ride a motorcycle out of a helicopter? And I just tweeted it, why not do both?
That's true.
For Buster the Bronco.
I love old zooted out Buster the Bronco.
Yeah.
I'm dropping some pictures in the chat because he just makes me so happy.
He's living his best life.
He is the 420 mascot.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only Buster I acknowledge.
Yeah, there's another one. I have no idea. And the funny thing about this hockey team too is that, we're like, do we have to bevel that weird W? And then our Canadian correspondent who runs Sickos on Ice, he's like, no, the hockey team uses the old Bronco. They use the old mascot, the Ghost Bronco. So we got the bevel, the logo we actually like for Western Michigan. which is
Is
awesome.
the Western Michigan logo update, listeners, by the way, what it is, it looks like what the Washington football team tried to do. It is a serif W in gold on a brown circle. It might be my least favorite logo in all of college football.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
It's just a cosplaying Scrabble tile.
There are so many things you could do with this, but it's not as good as the Bronco thing. And I know they were trying to make it less 90s, but
or less Denver Broncos. But yes,
don't do this. This is not it.
No.
It doesn't help that Wyoming has the same colors and also uses a bucking horse. So I get that too.
I mean, you know those schedule reveal videos where you go around and show like the school logo and say like, "What do you think this is?"
Yep.
Yeah, like how if you scheduled Western Michigan and walked around asking people, no one would have any idea that was Western Michigan.
No,
like unless they were really in tune with the MAC.
I am very in tune with college football and the MAC. And even then, I have to stop and think several times when I see this thing. This was not a great choice.
Every time I see that, I'm just like, why did y'all switch to this? Like, I know who did it. And I'm like, why Western Michigan? And then they switched the mascot too.
It's their university logo, which also, like, it's part of their actual logo. Like their school logo is the circle W.
Man. No, like, the Western Michigan tried to take the fun out of the zoo, out of K-Zoo. They tried to take the fun out of Kalamazoo. You need to bring back the original Buster Bronco, bring back the old logo. Let's go. Let's you're trying to move on to do some sort of, you're like, hey, we're not Kalamazoo. We're not, we're just Western Michigan here. We're just out here hanging out, No, have some fun out there.
Western Michigan was originally the Hilltoppers.
Yeah.
By the way, Commish, that wasn't the original Bronco. There were other Broncos beforehand, like the one I just posted in chat. Looks like he has
bring back Buster, though. You got to bring back Buster.
Or go back to being the Hilltoppers, and then you can have kind of like the Country Mouse, City Mouse thing.
I really hope, because they're brown, I don't want to call them Big Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call them Big Brown. I don't want Big Red to look like Big Brown. Just like,
What can Big Brown do for you?
Okay, hold on.
It's
now
just Big Red wearing a poorly fitting horse costume.
We're gonna need this. Look, we're gonna need.
Yeah, I like that.
We need the Big Red mascot, but you have to color him brown. Instead of WKU, you put WMU on there. There you go. The Western Michigan Hilltoppers. Big Brown.
What if? Have we ever posited that perhaps Big Red has the ability to do the Kirby thing and like eat other mascots and gain their powers?
We sure have now.
Yeah, we have now. This is canon now.
Yeah. So he can just chomp the stoned horse and become
Jordan.
horse.
This is your new like state outlines project.
Oh God.
Come on, as prisons of our own making go, that's a pretty good one.
It is a pretty good one. What if Big Red was Kirby?
What if Big Red ate Purdue Pete just with the sledgehammer and the dead eyes?
Oh no.
Now you got to put him in Super Smash.
I actually think Sparty's more horrifying.
Oh, I have so many bad mental images now. I'm sorry I spoke this into existence.
How about a flesh-colored Big Red?
I feel like putting the Nittany Lion scarf on Big Red somehow makes him more naked.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it would be inside his neck that he doesn't really have.
True. Yeah,
It would be in his
and
mouth.
it draws attention to the fact that he's naked.
Is that why we were okay with Big Red being naked? It's because he's not wearing any clothes at all. If he had a shirt on, it'd be a big problem.
Yeah, it may be a problem.
Yeah, imagining him like Daffy Duck and it makes me or Porky Pig and it makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't go Winnie the Pooh in it.
No, Winnie the Pooh.
Unless you're wearing a No Fear shirt, in which case that's fine. That's the only way to wear one of those. No pants.
What if no, he can't. I was gonna say, what if Big Red came out with a Big Red dong one time? But he can't because Big Red is genderless.
Yeah,
So
that's what's stopping that from happening.
Yeah, that's what's stopping it from happening. Big Red is genderless. Big Red doesn't talk. Is the big red suit a gimp suit? My column.
Where did
We
we
move
go?
on.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
You've just spoken the basketball gag into existence, and I don't know how I feel about that.
This was
Bad.
This was
Bad, that's how
really,
I feel
really
about it.
not where I was trying to go with.
No.
What if Big Red
No.
has Kirby's powers?
No, I wanted to just put him in Super Smash Brothers with Purdue Pete Sledgehammer. That's all I wanted.
Nope.
Or Big Brown. Big Brown
You've-
sounds
you've
much
seen
more
the one-
appetizing now.
You've seen the one where he's eating the cheerleader. I assume he ate the cheerleader to contain her powers.
That's how he gets pom poms.
So he can now regenerate endlessly. This has been a
Big Red
hero's
swallows a
joke.
cheerleader, and his A attack just becomes him throwing pom poms at you.
There you go.
Yeah, so whatever mascot he eats, he gains the powers. This is Big Red in Super Smash as Kirby.
Please don't eat any Big 12 mascots. I don't need to see Big Red with a gun.
That's what he's missing.
Pistol Red.
He should have gotten it during his time dealing with the Soviets. The Soviets had some AKs with them. Big Red just shows up strapped one day, trading it for blue jeans and vodka. Hey, that story, tell me that would have been absent in that story.
It's real. It's real. Big Red's running a counterfeit jeans ring out of his car hole.
Beth, by the way, it looks like you need 2 basketballs to gag Big Red. He can fit 2 volleyballs in his mouth.
Balls gag. No, that's worse. That's worse.
Oy. Congrats to Western Michigan. I want to say this. Congrats to Western Michigan. Moving on here.
Sorry to Hector.
Western Michigan alum, hockey alum, rest in peace, John Saunders, who played for the Western Michigan Broncos hockey team, probably smiling down and after the Broncos winning their first national title since the 1960s, which is, I mean, this is something that's kind of incredible for Western Michigan. It's great. I wanna send out hugs to our friend Marissa and Jemmy, friend of the pod, who's been on the pod before. She's a BU grad, so she had to see the 6-2 loss, which is a bit heartbreaking. They were close. BU was close for a bit, but I'm thrilled for Kalamazoo. Just like, this is awesome for them. Like, we got to see Youngstown State and Western Michigan win national championships on TV, like back-to-back games on Saturday night, which is phenomenal. Like, when we get to see these schools do stuff like this, it's awesome. It's cool. It's what we're here for.
I was going to ask what other national titles Youngstown State has, but I think they have a football title.
They do.
I do, with Jim Tressel.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And Mama called and he became president there.
Yeah, now he's lieutenant governor.
Oh, I always forget about that.
Yep.
I always forget about that. We have a non-NCAA champion, Michigan Tech, won the American Broomball Collegiate National Championship.
Ooh.
We had someone on the ground there. Corn correspondent Andrew ate the foot of Doritos, ate a breakfast pizza, and then got in a van with other human beings.
Yeah, to go to the Broomball Championships, which is, I didn't know this was a thing. Like, it was an actual, like, he was going to this. I had no idea. And I love that he just started posting about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we started with a warning of the Subway Doritos. I'm like, okay, is this Arthur or is this the Corn correspondent Andrew? And I couldn't figure it out. And then once I saw the Iowa breakfast pizza thing,
Yep,
I was like, okay, this is Andrew. So I had no idea, because I know Arthur like got the foot-long cookie.
No, I'm on the
And I was like,
record as being anti-footlong nachos from Subway.
okay, all right. So that was like, he's on the record. I couldn't remember, all right? So couldn't remember that for sure. But once I saw this apparently there's some Iowa breakfast pizza, which I'm very curious about.
Iowa breakfast pizza seems like something I don't want to search on Urban Dictionary.
No,
It's just
Apparently
cornbread with a fancy hat.
Is it?
Let's see here. It's our bacon breakfast pizza that starts with cheese sauce or sausage gravy. You got to pick there. Oh, gravy on my pizza sauce. This is my pizza sauce.
Ooh.
And it's topped with scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, mozzarella, and cheddar cheese. There we go.
Okay.
There is. I found an article that says power ranking Iowa's gas station breakfast pizzas.
Oh, there's more than enough to get multiple.
Oh yes. Casey's and Come and Go and probably other ones that were not listed in my hasty Google results.
Quick Trip, Quick Star. That's just the 4. It says the final power rankings. Quick Trip was number 1, ranked wise. The perfect size with perfect combination of sausage, eggs, melted cheese, and sausage gravy. Casey's number 2, rated too bland. Number 3, Come and Go is where's the sauce? Interesting comment for that gas station. Number 4 is Quick Star. Slice was too small, and the cheese sauce didn't match the rest of the slice's taste. It says, do you think I'm wrong? I am not. Deal with it. Thank you, Sean Dengler of the Iowa starting line. I appreciate that. It was interesting. And again, like your weird regional food, I did not know that there was a breakfast pizza thing in Iowa, which I would try it once. I will guarantee you I will try it once. When the court correspondent went to the Broomball event, he started a mega thread on this, which is crazy. Like the Broomball, I'm thinking that there's like an actual like broom, like, you know, with like some duct tape on it.
Okay.
But apparently there's like actual like sticks with like rubber ends on it. So it's not just like a normal.
So it's not a broom. It's just stick with a rubber end ball.
It seemed that way, but it's yeah, it was a little crazy. Let me see if I can find the picture of this real quick, because he did a giant thread of all of this, and then we had all the Masters fun today on it. So I'm trying to figure out where he did this. I love some of the team names on this too. There was one that was like DC Corruption. Then it was like Top Shelf out of Baltimore. There we go. I found it. It says it's not quite a curling stick. Most tournament teams use hard plastic heads like these. A lot of intramurals still rely on actual brooms and excessive amounts of duct tape. So it kind of looks like a weird ice scraper. So let me go ahead and post that in the chat real quick. It's a very strange like ice scraper looking thing, and it's very colorful.
That's
it
not
looks
a
almost
broom.
like an inverted lacrosse stick.
Kind of.
It's a tiny spatula. Like that's a spatula.
You want real brooms? Is that what you want, Beth?
Yes,
Oh.
it's called broom. It's not called spatula ball. That's a different sport.
Oh.
What do you feel about curling using brooms that aren't brooms? Does that also bug you?
It's not called brooming. It's called curling.
I kind of thought,
The thing
you know,
curls. That's
Broomball.
fine.
I mean, and it's sort of a like Swiffery type thing for curling.
I can't. There's no surface I can clean with this.
You could probably scrape some ice off with that.
Yeah, like scrape.
Totally squeegee your windows.
I feel like you can use anything to clean something if you're determined enough.
I don't want to challenge that.
No, neither do I.
I'm just not doing it. Not doing it.
Nope, we're not going there. Nope.
Arthur wins by default.
Yeah, I was just not. No, we already went down the bad path.
We have elected not to show up in court versus Arthur.
Not doing that. So I love
no contest.
I love that he's there for all these games, and it starts to kind of catch fire on our social media a little bit, and the championship game was between Miami of Ohio, who won the college dodgeball championship, versus Michigan Tech out of the Huskies out of the Upper, the Upper Peninsula. And Michigan Tech was able to pull off a victory, 1-0 in the title game.
Ooh.
And they got a victory. They had an amazing like broomball logo which was like their husky with like a broomball in the mouth of the husky as like a hockey sweater vest, which was honestly incredible. Just a fantastic jersey. I was able to bevel the gentleman that had the jersey. We found the Michigan Tech broomball team on Instagram, and we tagged them in our celebratory bevel and post photos that the corn correspondent took. Got them a lot of love. I think they only had like 300 followers when I found them, and so glad we were able to shine a light on the broomball championship that was taking place. It was cool that the corn correspondent was able to make it there, which was great.
If you are looking to start being a broomballer, you'll be happy to know that you can get a typical broomball stick for about $30.
Okay.
But if you want to go up, they make a carbon fiber broomball stick that costs $230. So if you're serious about your broomball, there are price points.
Hello, Podcat.
Hi, Podcat.
Podcat is very serious about his broom ball,
Podcat's
apparently.
serious about the broom ball. Well, I would like to know more about the ball. Is there a ball?
I mean, I don't know. For me, like carbon fiber as a material has been ruined for me, because now the first thing I think of anytime I hear carbon fiber is like, oh, that's what they made that sub out of.
Oh yeah, the one that.
So it's just like it's. It was it a terrible use for carbon fiber? Yes, but that's what I think of now. You know what I mean? Like,
Commish, talk to us about what the Sac State president said here, because we just talked a couple weeks ago about how Sac State said that they're going D1 FBS, and they're going to try to do it, and they're going to do it as an independent.
That's right. They're a strong independent team, and they don't need nobody. They don't need no conference. So the Sac State president did in a Reddit AMA on their decision on why they wanted to go to FBS. You want to know? You want it? Podcat wants to know. Okay, I appreciate. Podcat has.
Listener, I need you to know that Podcat was like on Beth's chest, and all we could see was his butt, like in her face.
Yes, perfect.
We got to work on boundaries, buddy.
Gotta work on boundaries. Okay, so Sac State, the president has an AMA, and trying to explain like why Sac State wants to go up to FBS as an independent, since they have not gotten an invite from the Mountain West or the Pac-12 at this time, and they're trying to force their way up. I'm not necessarily a fan of what this gentleman said, but the president goes, we don't have to join the Pac-12 in order to benefit. We just need to be a football series institution. Right now, we're a football championship series institution, which significantly reduces our media value. Currently, football is essentially JV, while all our other sports are varsity. That's what we're trying to change.
I know what he's trying to say. I don't like the way he said it.
That sucks shit.
So, okay. Beth, were you running the Reddit FCS account? Because basically they were not pleased with what they were saying. And then they pointed out that last year, Sac State was 3-8.
They also brought up the only Big Sky teams they have winning records against are Idaho State and Northern Colorado.
That's right. So Sac State is Reddit FCS just started to just attack this gentleman, which after you call FCS JV, I can see it. Sac State is just 126 and 188 all time against teams in the Big Sky. The only two teams they have a winning record against in the conference are Idaho State and Northern Colorado, which they are the two bottom dwellers, and I actually got to see both of them play in Holt Arena. But honestly, last year, not great, but the coach Troy Taylor, who was just recently fired by Stanford, was in the last 5 years they were 21-11 in the Big Sky. So it's kind of been a bit of a blip. I honestly don't know why they're trying to force this.
Maybe they just think that their best chance of winning is to get out of the Big Sky.
Well,
But
I
they
mean,
went undefeated and they won the conference like 2 years ago.
I know.
so this AMA has since been deleted. Who was the university president? He's deleted it. But the way Reddit works, like you can delete the top like thread and all of the comments are still there, right? So you can still go and see it. I mean, this isn't even like the thing that I think got him the most heat from doing this. And I would just say like a lot of times like you know how we talk about how like sports commissioners, right? Like your Roger Goodell's, your Rob Manfred's or whoever, like kind of a lot of their job is to get yelled at and to, take heat on behalf of a bunch of other people, right? Like in the case of like Roger Goodell, his job is a lot of it is just taking heat on behalf of the owners, so the owners themselves don't have to take that heat. And I feel like a lot of what like college university presidents is take heat from people on behalf of other people, right? I mean, you've got, donors, trustees, all sorts of like various people with various interests. I don't know exactly because I'm not super sourced on Sac State. Like, I don't know who's behind this push.
I don't know.
Like, it could be that this is the university president himself, but like, there's got to be other people pushing this too. Like, this isn't something you do by yourself.
I mean, there's been a lot of like smoke with Sac State, which is kind of like, I mean, they're like, they got 25 million in NIL. They have a whole bunch of different things going on.
So one thing I know about Sac State or Sacramento in general, right? So Sacramento, they have the Kings.
Yeah.
I guess now they randomly have the A's, the like MLB team in a minor league park there. But there have been efforts by various people to bring like professional sports to Sacramento beyond what is already there. I know that they were kind of I know they made a run for MLS that has not been successful as of yet. So, it could be there are people just in the Sacramento community that want this. I mean, I don't know what the relationship is to the school. If it's just like, we want some more big time sports here. Like, I don't know who exactly it is. But I mean, I can see the thinking, especially for football. If you're like, yeah, like I feel like there should be some more prominent football in the Sacramento area than just FCS. I mean, we think about like Sacramento is a pretty big city. It being in California, right? You've got like the Bay Area, like Los Angeles. So you got a lot of other big cities in California, but Sacramento is like a fairly large city in its own right. So I could understand from a marketing standpoint, right? Thinking like, okay, there's an opportunity in the market for, some more prominent sports in Sacramento. But I mean, I don't know. It's something that either they'll pull it off or they won't. We've seen schools go up to FBS and turn around and go back because it didn't work. And, they really want, who knows? I mean, we don't know if the NCAA is going to let them.
We don't know if they're going to even let them do this.
Go up. I mean,
that's immediately the first thing is that the NCAA has the final say in this, especially because they don't have a conference invite. It has become a thing where you have to have a conference invite to be able to move up cleanly, basically. And it's not happening. So that's fine. But I don't know that it even gets off the ground there. The folks that I've talked to about this have said that it's not a slam dunk.
No.
That approval gives there. It's not a rubber stamp or anything.
No,
no.
I honestly don't know how they'll rule on that. For me, I don't think they'll let them do it. But I mean, again, like we discussed last time with New Mexico State, it was like, hey, if the Mountain West or if the Pac-12 wanted them, they probably would have pulled the trigger already.
Yeah.
For the school, you think? But I don't think the Mountain West or the Pac-12 wants a team that would that would just basically come up from FCS into their conference right away.
Oh, by the way, one of our listeners mentioned that basically that Sac State, even if they joined the Pac-12, they wouldn't count for the Pac-12 in the first couple of years because they're a transitioning team. And Pac-12 needs full members.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like at this point it feels like a bunch of entities playing chicken, right? Like Sac State kind of going both at these conferences and also, the NCAA, or I think, they're basically going at them saying like, are you really going to deny us? Because, I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing if they get denied, but then like, do they go to court over that? Do they sue? Then is the NCAA opening another antitrust case for them to go to court over? I mean, it's going to, who knows how far you're willing to go? That's what it's going to come down to. We don't know. We're going to find out.
I'm just like looking at all this, the marketing when you're talking about that. Like Sacramento's kind of an entity of itself. And then you go a little bit west, you got Cal, you got Stanford, you got San Jose State. And then probably about 2 hours south, you got Fresno State. So, I mean, you kind of have your own area, so to speak. Like Stockton, you don't have the University of Pacific anymore. You don't have any of the schools that basically stopped having football in the early 90s around that area.
You have UC Davis.
You do have UC Davis, which is kind of, I mean, that's their rival. I don't, like, they have a concrete barrier trophy.
You say it's a pile, like a pillar of concrete or something?
Yeah, it's something from like a causeway.
Yeah. The Causeway concrete.
But they put it like UC Davis was in the quarters last year, and like Sac State was 3-8. I don't know. It's the Causeway Classic, is what it is. UC Davis leads the series 48-23. Sac State's like recent success, if you haven't been following like FCS, but like UC Davis is pretty much dominated that series. The Causeway Cup, I mean, it is just.
But Arthur made a good point last time.
Yeah,
we talked about the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, and that Arthur suggested that teams moving to the Pac-12 is the show of we are serious about football now. And this might be Sac State's way of just going, no matter what the success rate is, no matter how good they are or not, we're willing to put forward X amount of dollars to football. This would be better spent in the FBS. We think we belong in that echelon of teams. Like, no, but even if we get wrecked 0-12 a couple years in a row, that doesn't change our commitment to football.
Yeah, they're trying to upgrade the stadium. They're trying to upgrade everything. I'm looking at the Causeway thing. It's kind of like a pillar of. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
it's just like a weird
big
pillar,
piece of concrete.
A big pillar of concrete, like a big cylinder of concrete.
We don't know how much someone weighs, though, do we? We never got any weight.
No, I'm looking for the weight. I don't see a weight.
I hope it's something ridiculous. I hope it blows the Great Divide Trophy out of the water.
It looks like it's not that big.
Oh, lame.
It may match the. It may match the.
Oh, someone's one-handing it.
Marker.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is lame. Two-handing, maybe. Like,
the Dakota marker is like 76 pounds, right?
It's not even that heavy. There's no way it's even that heavy.
No. Yeah, I don't think it even matches like the Dakota marker weight. There's no way.
Do you know what isn't heavy? Our pockets. Give us money. $5 a month.
Woo! Nice.
Fucking hit the clutch and pop that thing into gear.
Talk about that segue.
Give us money. $5 a month. Hey, you. Yeah, you.
That's
Statistically,
right.
if you're listening to this, you already pay us, probably.
Hey, you.
It's for everyone else out there. Harass your friends.
Hey, listen. Pay us.
$5 a month gets you access to our Patreon, which gets you access to our Discord.
Get into my car. No.
Podcat ain't going to feed himself.
That's right.
Yeah, how will you get those sweet, sweet podcat purrs directly into the mic?
I mean, hey.
Now Arthur can't cut it out.
Yeah, no. Why would he want to?
Podcat only, eats Fancy Feast. So,
I mean, I'm still not editing at this time, so
it's still Lent.
That's true.
That's right.
It's still Lent.
You could just start holding out until we get enough money.
Sorry. Oh, Arthur's gonna do a holdout? We're not
he's
to the
gonna
next
sit
segment,
out.
right? Okay.
yeah, we're gonna do a renegotiation of
Oh.
a contract thing, right?
In the middle of this? Okay. Hey, join our Patreon.
Arthur's unionizing.
We can't afford Arthur. Join our Patreon.
Or I'll just go to the transfer portal, start doing a different podcast.
Oh,
We're gonna have to break Arthur's union of him, which means that we're just going to break his kneecaps. Union busting. By busting, I mean his jaw.
We have to finish this read before we could transition to the
Our
Tennessee
strike
quarterback
breaking.
news.
Yeah.
That I was gonna be like, oh, segue.
The podcast Pinkertons.
No, we still have to do this part.
Yeah. We still have
You can
another
access
thing.
to our
in front of us.
Discord where you can chat with us, chat with other sickos. Everyone's great in there. The vibes are immaculate. We've all
Great.
been part of this Discord since before Sickos Committee existed, so you should come join us in there.
It is the primordial swamp from which we emerged.
That's correct.
It's literally the Discord's fault.
Mhm.
I
It is.
can't
Who knows
emphasize that
what-
enough.
Who knows what will be the next thing to emerge out of this particular swamp?
They gave
But
us
you could be part of it.
they gave us our own room, and that was the problem. That's when it really took off.
Mm-hmm.
that's
Let
fine.
that be a lesson to you. Never put us in timeout.
They were like, hey, we're going to have to move Commish out of this channel. We'll just give them their own channel. And then look what the hell
You're
happened.
locked in here with us now.
You're in here with us now. So enjoy.
Sickos Committee, the squishy growth you aren't sure about.
We're benign. It's okay.
Get a biopsy.
Yeah, go. We you find us, take us to your dermatologist, get us checked out.
We're cool.
Show us to them. Be like, hey, this thing wasn't here before. Yeah, are hairy moles the bad one or hairless moles the bad one?
Ones with raggedy edges or that
Mhm.
change colors
Yeah.
are the bad ones.
Oh, okay.
We're the
Also
good
not great if
things.
it develops sentience.
We're the good things in the egg salad sandwich that make you stronger and smarter.
Things like
They're covering me in mayo! God damn it!
Beth's face was already so
She's so mad
concerned.
already.
join our podcast, $5 a month. Get in there. Go to our merch
Sorry,
store.
that was a
buy some
Futurama
shit.
reference, but okay.
Buy some shit. Go to our merch store,
Wait,
sickoscommittee.org.
join our podcast? Or are we just adding more hosts if you donate?
That's right. For every $5 a month, we'll add a host.
Oh my god.
I mean, who knows? We may add a tier that lets you join the show for like 5 minutes or something. Who knows?
Freeconferencecall.com.
Mm-hmm.
You think we can get on Cameo? Like, how big do we have to get on Cameo?
I mean, we first got to show our faces, but we don't do that yet.
We could have Hector
Cameo.
animate cameos for
Yeah,
us.
animate our cameos.
Hi, Commish here. I just want to say,
Hello.
Cameo
I
is
am
now open
Jordan.
to all creators.
Oh,
happy
we're
happy-
all.
happy 18th birthday from the Commish of the Sickos Committee.
Happy bat mitzvah from Jordan from the Sickos Committee.
Yeah, they would ask you that one.
I don't
L'chaim.
want to tell that many people that I'm covering them in mayo.
That's on the OnlyFans.
That is on the OnlyFans.
That's out there giving instructions. I'm covering you in mayo.
Nope.
nope.
I'm just gonna take my headphones off and walk away.
Jordan, what is wrong with you today?
Oh, man.
The usual things.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Go to our YouTube. We have videos. We're dropping a new video on Monday. So by Tuesday, a real video, one that has actual content in it.
We have content. We have slideshows. It is about the journeyman coaches. Myself, I read the incredible Wikipedia entries of some journeyman coaches, and then I map it out. I keep stats of this, like how many miles you'd have to drive to duplicate these folks' career, just the drive to and from, not the games in between. And coming up next, runaway Notre Dame fans, runaway Georgia Southern fans, it's Brian Van Gorder.
Hasn't been a problem since they put iodine in salt.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what a goiter is anymore, Beth?
In this area, yes.
Oh, you're in the Oregon meat belt, so yeah.
I'm in the goiter belt. Like there is such a thing, and I'm in it.
It's not goiter, it's Gorder.
Yes, I
But
know.
okay.
But everyone says it Brian Van Goiter. We have an Instagram. Follow us there. We're getting big on Instagram, man.
We're totally getting big on Instagram.
We have a Twitch where we're going to
Can we
start
start
streaming
calling
more.
it the Gram now? Is that where we are?
Yeah, we're hot. We're big on the gram.
We do it for the gram, apparently.
Take those gram shots. Is that what you say?
No,
No.
that feels wrong.
No.
If I'm a white dude on Instagram, am I a graham cracker?
Boo.
Don't boo me. You know I'm right.
Boo.
More Jesus podcasts. They go the places you refuse to go. And hey, you wear something, you slob. Go to Home Field Apparel. I'm just like telling our listeners I'm being mean tonight.
Listener, you are probably wearing a shirt if you are listening to this podcast. But if you are not wearing a shirt while you listen to this podcast,
Send us an
Have you
email at
considered-
kickthoscommittee.gmail.com.
have you considered Home Field Apparel for your obvious shirt needs, given that you are not wearing a shirt? Commish is wearing a very good Home Field shirt with a golfing Youngstown State Penguin on it, in honor of both Youngstown State winning the bowling championship and the Masters.
Yes.
Look at that.
Wow.
What does it say? Something with the penguin?
Golfing with the
Golfing
Gwins.
Gwyn.
Golfing with the Gwins. Thank you.
Yes.
There you go.
So anyway, discount code yes yes, that's 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And if you're not wearing a shirt, you probably haven't ordered yet. So go do that.
How did you hijack my ad read? That's my line.
Woo!
Ha ha.
Hijacking. Haha, yes.
I'm real sneaky.
They have
That's how.
Western Michigan championship gear for the hockey too.
Oh, cool.
Check it out.
Like they say in the Book of Revelation, use clothing to dress yourself and cover up your shameful nakedness. Home Field Apparel.
Chaz, Western Michigan Superfan, we got you a discount code for the Western Michigan home field gear with hockey. Go.
Do it. Yes, ha ha ha.
Yes.
Yes, ha ha ha. Yes, 3 ha's.
3 ha's.
15% off your first order.
Ha ha ha.
It is the middle or beginning of April, and Kent State has fired their coach, Kenni Burns.
I think it is solidly the middle of April. It's April 15th by the time the listeners are listening to this.
I mean, there's only 30 days in a month.
This is a continuation of, we've been talking about this quite a bit, and that the situation for Kenni Burns at Kent State, even outside of the 0-12 season, was not going well for him.
No.
There was an issue with some money he owed. He settled with that bank, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of other things, apparently, that were behind the scenes. I don't have sources for anything, so I'm not going to mention them. What I've heard.
Oh, we got a little bit more details in this situation. There was some issues regarding that. There was also some issues with, I guess, like player management. When Tennessee offered them a running clock in the second half when it was like, I think it was like 70-0 at halftime last year. The coach turned it down, leading to basically them going all the way down to the third string quarterback, losing a lot of depth for their team. And then there was a bunch of other questions about just general coach management. It's still kind of baffling that they gave him an extension after a 1-11 year.
Yeah, I feel like that was just giving him more runway, but I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, to like turn some things around, but he's gone. Their interim coach is the one that took over recently, and that's going to be Mark Carney. They are now apparently, according to Roger Sherman here, there are now 2 separate guys named Mark Carney serving as an interim leader roles in 2 very different organizations, Kent State and the Government of Canada. So,
are we sure that they're 2 different Mark Carneys?
I mean,
you could do both of those.
Have we seen them both in the same place at the same time?
Unless the Canadian one was a quarterback for Fordham from 98 to 2001.
You don't know that.
It's possible.
Could have been.
We don't know that.
Could have been.
I think the moral of the whole story is that you should just always do a running clock.
Just do it.
Always take the running clock.
Like, I don't think you should even have to be getting blown out. Just be like, yeah, like, this game's taking too long. Can we just do a running clock?
Well, both teams got to agree to that.
Listen, if I was a football coach, first, like, opening, we're going out to handshake before the game. I'm like, hey, can we do a running clock? Like, I got dinner reservations.
And then anytime anybody gets hurt, you're like, well, I offered to do a running clock to get the
Should've
game
done-
over faster, but, well.
Should have done the running clock.
This is also a thing by rule in Pennsylvania high school football, where like if one team goes up by enough,
Yes.
I don't remember exactly how much it is anymore off the top of my head because I don't freelance covering high school football anymore. By the way, if you read your local paper's high school football coverage, thank a freelancer. That job is really hard, which is why I don't do it anymore. But anyway,
35-point lead
yeah,
in the second half.
yeah, and then it just automatically goes.
Yep.
So perhaps the NCAA could consider that.
Only 35? That feels very low.
It's
35 in the second half.
Okay.
So if you're up 35-0 going into the
shorter quarters.
coming
remember
out of
that, too.
halftime, the clock will run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one is probably going to be our big discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Nico Iamaleava. Did I get that right?
Close enough for me.
Okay. Nico Iamaleava did not.
Iamaleava?
Maybe E?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Just
E.
go with Nico. For now.
Nico did not. He was in negotiations with Tennessee Athletics, which is a fun phrase to say about college football now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was their quarterback this last year. He was like the 8th to 10th best quarterback in the SEC. Good, but nothing to write home about, especially for who they were playing. And in this whole conversations about new contract, he said that's, he still might enter the portal. I don't know. And then he didn't attend spring practice. Oh no. And Tennessee was just like, we're moving on. Which is their right to do. I don't know the numbers he was talking about, but I'm going to guess he was thinking he deserved more than others than
Okay.
he did.
So I have numbers here. So basically
Mitch
what
keeps
Nico...
receipts.
Yeah, I have that. So basically Nico signed an NIL deal, probably one of a record NIL deals, supposedly in the range of $2.2 million to $2.5 million, according to On3, out of high school. After the season ended and the college football playoff lost to Ohio State, apparently him and his representatives were in negotiations, and supposedly, according to On3, again, indicated that Nico was looking for somewhere in the ballpark around $4 million a year here for this. Now, this is one thing I hate about NIL is I don't have concrete info. I don't have contract info. I don't have any information about what the terms are, what the deal is. It's essentially it's pay to play, but they're employees, but they're not employees because they can't say the term employee because they don't want to make them employees due to whatever. That bugs the crap out of me. But supposedly that what was happening there, and then so there was rumblings on Thursday that hey, there's an issue here. The spring portal's about to open. What's going on? Then on Friday, he basically no-shows to practice. He does the classic no-call, no-show. When you kind of want to quit your job, you do the no-call, no-show. And from that point, Tennessee basically gets to look like, I guess, on the right side of things here. It's weird. It's like people are taking the side of like the NCAA and Tennessee because it's like, hey, there's no way he's worth that much.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, yes, obviously get your money. Like, we are here to support people getting paid. But also, my guy, you know your worth in both the like value yourself sense and also in the like value yourself accurately sense.
But we see this all the time though, of like, You don't know how much of this is like what he thinks he's worth, what kind of advice he's getting,
Yeah.
who's talking to him. And again, it's another reason why like it would be good to have some guardrails here.
It would be great to have some sort of like, hey, this is what the quarterback for Ohio State is getting, or hey, this is what the quarterback for Georgia is getting, or what's DJ Lagway getting in Florida? Like, I mean, what is Garrett Nussmeier getting at LSU? What? We don't know this. Like, it's all like weird hearsay, wild west speculation, and it drives me insane because not the NCAA. I'm not mad at the NCAA because the NCAA is essentially like governed by the athletic directors and school presidents.
I'm a little mad at the NCAA.
Well,
because
they're made up. They're
kicked
made
the
up.
can down the. Well, right,
Yeah,
they are.
that's all
they
they've
are
done.
accountable to
They
their
just
stakeholders.
They're accountable to the people that make the decisions on the schools, of the athletic directors and the school presidents. And then the NCAA is losing everything in court because they don't necessarily have any legal standing. So I'm kind of pissed off about all of that leading to this. And I'm not blaming Nico for anything trying to do this, which is, again, you kind of know, hey, there's only X amount of really, really good quarterbacks out there right now. And trying to do this, which right before the spring portal, that's kind of a good time. I can see his perspective and his people's perspective, but there's not any guardrails. You're just doing this in the wild west, so to speak. Yes, Arthur.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that, he was a trailblazer kind of when he signed out of high school.
Yes.
The way he did the NIL that he got then.
Correct.
And I mean, he's decided that he's going to be a trailblazer again. There are plenty of examples of professional athletes who, as you would say, they bet on themselves and it doesn't work out, right? I mean, like the example that jumps to mind in my head, I'm not sure why, is like Dennis Schroeder, where he got offered a pretty big contract, turned it down, and then ended up, not getting much in free agency. But
or Nerlens Noel, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of NBA examples because that's the pro league that has contracts that I follow the closest. But my point is, when you have a league like that, there's a lot more structure to all of these interactions. Even in the NFL, like a lot of people were saying, and I'm not as familiar with the NFL, but saying that this was an NFL style holdout, right? Where you have a guy who's not happy with the existing contract that he's on, right? Because for a lot of this, I say, hey, what would solve this is employment contracts. Well, in the NFL, you do have employment contracts and people do still hold out. So I think that it's tough to be the first guy. It's tough to be the first guy doing any of this. And that's kind of the position that, that Nico has decided that he's going to be in, right? I mean, so you kind of, there's no one that's walked down this road before. You got to be the first. And either he'll find somewhere, he'll land somewhere and get paid. Maybe he'll land somewhere. It's a good situation, but he doesn't get that much money. I don't know. I mean, and one thing I'll say, we've seen people transfer before where it doesn't end up working. I mean, there are plenty of guys that we've seen in the past where they transfer out of somewhere because, maybe they didn't get the starting job or something. And they just never actually find a good landing spot. But I mean, there's no way to know until you do it.
Like the 2023 class, I'm just gonna like look at the 2023 class for like this NIL stuff that happened here. The number one quarterback in that class, Archer Manning, still at Texas, right? The number 2 is Nico. He is now in the transfer portal. Then you had Dante Moore, who was at UCLA, now at Oregon. You had Jackson Arnold, who was at Oklahoma, just transferred to Auburn. You had Malachi Nelson, who went to USC, went to Boise State last year, and now is at UTEP. You have Jaden Rashada, who was at Arizona. He was going to get promised all that money from Florida, wound up at Arizona State. Now he's in the portal. Then you had like Aiden Childs, who got all that money from Oregon State, then followed his coach to Michigan State. And then Austin Mack, who was at Washington, is now at Alabama. So like the top essentially 10 of that, the first type of class to get something like this quarterback wise is they're in, I'm going to say kind of uncharted waters, because this doesn't make any sense to me. Like this is kind of like, hey, everybody's got bagmen, but the bagmen don't know what the other bagmen can do. And it's like, hey, it's such a weird thing. And now Nico's in a position where he can't transfer to another SEC school because of the SEC transfer rules.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The SEC transfer rule says that you can't transfer from spring and then play in the fall again if you go to another SEC school. Now, I truly believe that law, that decision will fall apart the minute it touches the court.
Probably.
So, like for all the other stuff that's been said, like SEC, good fucking luck getting that through. Pitt Girl, were you trying to say something earlier? Do you want to say something?
I was. So the thing that I wanted to say is that my frustration with the NCAA in this respect lies more around their failure to plan for what would happen when the house of cards that was amateurism finally came crashing down. And I understand that they were invested in making sure that the house of cards stayed up for as long as possible. But the fact that there was not a like, okay, we know this isn't sustainable. What are we going to do to like make this work, like actually work, when it is not a thing anymore, is a like just straight up failure of leadership and execution. And it is creating problems for players outside of like all the stuff that people talk about with like, is this the sport that I want to watch? And like all of that, like there are very real like potential legal issues that are, and like other stuff that we're talking about now with folks not knowing like and potentially being able to be taken advantage of and stuff that would be like, I don't know, if they had like an actual contract, we could resolve some of this, but there's no framework for that because the NCAA dicked around.
That's right. It feels like a complete dereliction of duty. Like they just didn't they didn't do anything. It was like, whatever, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep trying to maintain the, era of student athlete, and, X amount of students go pro, then, and other things besides this, which is, I hate to talk about this on like the Sickos Committee podcast, because like, this is not something that we are like, this is a mainstream topic, and we're not necessarily the best source to break down the legalities of certain things.
Here's something interesting about that being a mainstream topic is that it's a mainstream topic that the reporters don't want to talk about, and it doesn't seem like the fans want to hear either. So I'm not sure why we're doing it. Everyone complains about this having to exist, but are we just creating it ourselves as an industry? Because we just don't talk about it. It's fine. And we can survive and talk about this sport left and right, and we can acknowledge that it exists. But that doesn't impact how I enjoy the sport. That's to me, at least.
This doesn't like affect my enjoyment of the sport whatsoever. Like I don't care. I don't care. Like, hey, this is Nico's decision. He wants to try to get this amount out of Tennessee. It doesn't bother me.
No, like get your money, my guy.
Get your money.
I have slightly more realistic expectations for the amount of money that you might get.
I mean, I just, I think the one thing that I'm going to keep in mind here is that no matter how much money he ends up getting, no matter where he ends up transferring to, this cannot be the worst sports deal made this year involving someone named Nico.
That is very true.
Did you hear that they were chanting "Fire Nico" at the game when Luka came back?
Yeah, they were.
And then Luka put up, I think, some insane number of points on them, over 60, I believe. Yeah.
Oh,
funny how that worked.
It was like 40.
You know what? Sucks to be a Dallas Mavericks fan. What can I say? Go Spurs, go!
I look, man. This thing in college football, it exists. It happens. It's there, and it just seems like nobody wants to try to solve it. And I mean, we're not the ones to solve it, but it's like somebody's got to do it. You know?
See, but apparently no one has to.
Yeah, and so
apparently
it's going to resolve on its own, right?
Wrong. Well, this is like trying to wait out a big decision.
This is a classic thing in public policy. It's like there are you're supposed to come up with policy alternatives. One of the policy alternatives is always do nothing. That seems to be the one that the NCAA has chosen.
No one's really in charge anyway. Like, I mean, the NCAA, like, they have their hands full, and like, there are things that they could have done in the past, and yeah, maybe there are some things they could do right now, but just so much of what they're doing right now is just trying to limit their legal exposure because that's where they've been getting their ass kicked. So, I mean, I'm not expecting anyone to quote unquote solve this. I'm not sure the degree this needs to be solved, right? I mean, like, because obviously there's, you can talk about it from various perspectives, right? And some of this, player empowerment is a good thing. But I mean, I think that as time goes on, we might see more stability just because people are going to figure it out more. It's just this figuring out process is going to take a lot of adjustment
and a lot of money to lawyers.
Yeah, fuck it. We're doing it live.
Lawyers are just making all the money. That's right.
Maybe if we gave this to all those like Austrian economic nerds.
No.
Maybe this would be a project for them.
No.
My favorite thing about Austrian economics is some places where you're like, did you know they let undergrads take Austrian economics here? And I look at the same disgust as like, wow, I wouldn't show kids pornography. What the fuck?
High Grove City.
Is there someone that we could like just occupy with? Like, could we just get like, I don't know, like one of those people that likes to talk about like how they're gonna solve the world's problems by like writing blogs for like the Atlantic or something?
I thought you were gonna say give it to the Sick Bros.
Oh my god!
Or like, no. What's the one guy that doesn't wash his hands?
Could you imagine like a Matt Iglesias type who cared about college football?
No,
about this?
I'm saying even better, someone who has no interest in college sports, but like is just like, we just need to keep you busy so you don't write some weird stuff about like bike lanes
so
or
like
something.
We're preventing people from going to the like white nationalist pro-natalist convention by assigning them to write about the NIL market instead.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I like this. They don't have
give
to go
them busy
Elizabeth
work.
Bruning, come on down.
Give them busy work.
Everyone else will be way happier if you just write about this. I promise you.
I know. Write about me talking about the season of the safety. Come released on our blog yesterday when this comes out on Monday.
Do y'all know where South Dakota State quarterback Mark Gronowski is going to be next year?
I do not.
Yes.
I knew that I know he transferred, but I don't remember.
I am all over this.
One of our favorite schools, Pitt Girl, winner of a back-to-back national title.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, because they were talking about it on Split Zone. That's why I know that.
Yeah.
I need to read this quote from him because Mark Gronowski has a good sense of humor.
Does.
Mark Gronowski quips that Iowa's 7-3 win over South Dakota State in 2022 was, quote, the greatest offensive game of all time. Agreed.
If you have the video, it is clearly a joking tone, but I love it. I love that he's got a sense of humor, and it was fantastic. And like people, I'm like, I posted, I'm like, yes, of course, 7-3 was the greatest offensive game all time, and it gave us the Iowa touchdown. And people are like, what is an Iowa touchdown? Is that a defensive touchdown? I'm like, no, an Iowa touchdown is the name for 2 safeties and a field goal.
Every podcast is someone's first.
Yes.
But also, if you are following us or listening to our podcast and you don't know about the Iowa touchdown, what are you doing?
No,
How are you here?
We failed then.
You
Yeah,
can
we failed. This is on us. This is on us.
make an argument that it's a defensive touchdown because the defense scored more points than the offense did.
True. The
That's
defense
true.
outscored the offense. That is, and then it wound up in 7 points.
A semi-defensive touchdown.
Yes. But yeah, this was, I think the guy with his hand over his head and it's the score cap when it's 5-3, when he go to commercial, that lives in my brain. It's just so ridiculous. And I'm happy that, there is, I know one of our South Dakota State fans are upset that he left South Dakota State to go to Iowa, but like this, it's fine. He's just he's going to graduate school. Just think of it that way. He's going to graduate school, and it's one of the most all-time games. And we don't rank each week. We don't rank FCS versus FBS games, so this wasn't even on our rankings. But it wound up to probably be the Sickos game of the year, I would say.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on the idea, like the concept of the Kirk Ferentz graduate school.
I like that. Kirk Ferentz.
Getting my master's degree from the Ferentz School. What's your master's in? Don't worry about it.
It's called 5th year of college football. We don't talk about it.
It's the master
defensive tactics.
Going pro and
with a focus in alternative offense.
Their offense was better last year, but their overall record was worse. So Kirk was like, I told you so.
The amount of offense is indirectly proportional to the amount of winning.
That's correct.
This is one of those, this is inverse square law or something like this. I know how this works. Okay.
That makes one of us.
We're going to have to talk somewhat about golf, everyone. So
yeah.
Is that someone me?
It's all Beth.
We're all going to have to put our golf hats on here and talk about golf.
Can I have one of the hats with the the Scottish hats with the pom-pom on top?
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a specific genre of golf hat?
There's the Tams, like the old school Tams.
There's the dad hat.
Yeah, the one with the pom-pom hat.
There's the
with
visor.
I want the pom-pom hat.
Is there such a thing as like a golf fascinator? I would like to wear one of those, please.
Ooh, I do like the idea of, and I'm glad that this does not occur. To be clear, I'm glad that this does not occur. But I'm now imagining the LPGA requiring that female golfers wear ridiculous hats.
Yes.
It's to scare away the gators on Floridian courses.
We are in Masters season. And we had lots of weird Masters things happening. First off, I have to say Rory McIlroy won the tournament.
Oh, okay.
And he won our hearts.
I was going to bevel the North Irish flag before I realized that doing that would cause a lot of issues depending on which flag I chose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing the geopolitical incident again. It is also the editorial position of this podcast that maybe not the flag you're thinking of.
What if I put up a Union Jack flag though and bevel that?
No. It is the editorial position of this podcast that we don't know what the Northern Irish flag is, but it's not that one.
Definitely not. I just want to say this Masters weekend was probably, I'm going to declare it this way, the most Sickos Masters tournament of all time. It started the week with the U.S. Open Amateur wearing Arizona State gear.
Hell yeah.
Arizona State gear with one of those Ben DiNucci hats that had the Sun Devils logo upside down, like the word Sun Devils upside down, taking a piss in Rays Creek on the Masters course.
Do you think that they got lost and thought it was the Waste Management Open?
Yeah, I'm sure you confuse the Waste Management Open the vibe for the Masters vibe.
Totally.
I don't understand how you end up with Arizona State guy doing this in any other way. Like he just took the wrong turn in Albuquerque and ended up at the Masters.
Can I say something?
Pick Girl real fast. Would you eat the egg salad sandwich in Arizona?
No.
Yep.
I think I'm more familiar with the Waste Management Open than I am with the Masters. Like in terms of like just hearing about them, you know what I mean?
Because you're a man of culture.
I feel like the Waste Management Open just manages to generate things that like make it to me versus like the Masters. It's like, oh, that's just golf, you know?
Oh, well, there's plenty for you this time. There's a lot of
This
Apple
time.
on this.
There
On this
was
phone.
a lot. There was a lot. There was.
I almost said
way
meat on
too
this
much.
apple too.
That's so
apple
better.
Apple meat.
Okay. So all
The
right.
word nut meat is on the bags of nuts at Trader Joe's that just have the interior of the nut. And there aren't many words that I find more revulsive than nut meat. Continue, Commish. I'm sorry for nut meeting us here.
Never use that as a verb again.
So
This is
Every
our
part is-
podcast. It's kind of a prison.
the Masters is Jose Luis Ballester. He urinated near the creek in the 13th green, which is Ray's Creek. His partner for the round was in trouble, and he was like, whatever, I got to use the restroom. I got to take a piss. And decides to pee in the creek. Now, this was kind of like fully out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
He says, well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms to the left of the tee box. He said sheepishly after shooting 76 while playing with defending champion, #1 in the world, Scotty Scheffler, and Justin Thomas. He says, and then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go. And since JT, Justin Thomas, had an issue on the green, I'm like, I'm just going to sneak here in the river, and probably people would not see me that much. And then they clapped for me.
Is this how it got named after Ray?
I
Do we
don't
have a
know.
renamed creek now?
I have no idea. How did they name Ray's Creek?
Sickos Committee Googles things.
Google's things.
It was named after John Ray, an Irish trader who settled in Augusta in 1734. He was a prominent early resident and landowner, and the creek was named in his honor.
Absolutely pissed in that creek.
He
Yeah,
totally
100%
peed in that creek. He totally peed in that creek. This is my creek. He marked his territory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So does it have a new name now?
This is not the only thing. What would you call this? Like the
Ballisters Creek.
Ballisters Creek? Did he just rename it because he
Because he claimed it.
Yeah.
claimed it?
Ray's not coming back from the dead to reclaim his creek.
Nope.
It's yours
It's
now.
true.
That's your creek.
That's your creek.
I've never seen Schitt's Creek, but now I have a different idea of what it might be about.
Oh no.
I haven't finished Schitt's Creek. I got through like 4 seasons. I just never finished it. I should finish that, I think. The next thing that happened was that Max Homa was in the trees, and he gets out of the trees and he hits a caddy in his ass cheek. It was on the green. I have a video there. If you see it, it's highlighted in the notes.
That's a workplace injury.
Like with the ball?
Yes. If you want to play the video, Jordan, I don't know if you can get to it.
Yep.
Play it where it lies.
I mean,
Yeah, how does that work if you like is the caddy a hazard? Is it like the ref in football where if it's,
I'm
you just sort of
assuming
play
you gotta
around them?
play it where it lies,
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Oh, come on!
The come on really makes it.
Well, and the way the caddy sort of flinches, but not as much as I expected him to.
Yeah, I was assuming this like sliced and he was gonna have a welt.
Yeah, no, I expected, like, that's not even going to give a welt, I don't think. That was just a
No.
little pop.
No, bounced off the ground first.
Yeah, I was
I
expecting
shout
it.
out also to the jumpsuits that the Masters makes the
Yeah,
caddies wear for
I love
some
that.
reason.
They all have to wear this weird like white romper suit jumpsuit thingy.
It
Like
looks like they're
hazmat
trying to
suit?
Thing
find
that
ET.
mechanics wear, except it's white.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love
Come
it.
on, man.
Come on,
Jesus.
man.
We want to make it clear that they're the help.
Somebody said that it's something known as a four caddy, but I'm like, is it because he should have yelled four? There was a caddy in the way. I don't. It says a four caddy does everything a normal caddy does except carry bags and get hit by golf balls.
So it's a caddy with a weight restriction.
I mean,
They
depends on-
help with pace of play, provide information on the course, and locate balls with their ass cheeks.
He did
I
find
was
it.
saying, I know where that is.
I know where it is. It hit
It's
my
an
butt.
easy one.
That was an easy one.
Well, he knows where it was because it didn't stick to his butt.
Didn't stick.
It wasn't like a Katamari.
Also in the Masters, this happened twice to world number one, Scotty Scheffler. He wound up in the same woods forest area on the same hole 2 consecutive days. One day he just sat down in the trees. He just vibing. He's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of here. Then there was another
Take
time.
a little nap.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to pee in the trees. I have no idea. He could have learned that from his first round playing partner. But yeah, this is crazy. This was probably the most insane final round ever.
That's what everyone was saying.
Yeah, this became a big enough deal, and I didn't see any of this because I was outside reading a book.
Yeah.
But this became a big enough deal that people on Blue Sky were like, "Wait, we're talking about what?
Yeah.
Now?"
Yes.
And like people who are not sports internet people at all were like, "This whole website seems to be watching golf right now."
Are we watching golf right now?
Are we all watching golf
We're
right
all
now?
watching golf. Which
friend of the program, Kate Wagner, who does McMansion Hell, just simply posted, "Who is Rory?" And
Who
then
is Rory?
Her next response is, "Wait, is literally everyone on this website watching golf?"
And then you responded. I don't know if it was you responded to her tweet of "Who is Rory?" You said you should probably be asking the question, "Why is Rory?" Which Rory McIlroy is a golfer,
but also everybody asking who is Rory and why is Rory, but no one is asking how is Rory.
After that,
we should care about him as a person.
Yes. I mean, he went through all the emotions after this round, which he went through all the emotions during this round. Rory McIlroy is a golfer that has won the U.S. Open. He's won the PGA Championship. He's won the British Open. The one tournament he has not won is the Masters, and that completes the Grand Slam, and he would become the 6th golfer all time to win the Grand Slam of all the majors. Now, he's tried 11 times to win the Masters, and he's had famous run-ins in the Masters where he just totally blows it. At one point, he had a lead in the past on the 10th, and he took a triple bogey on the 10th and just faded out of contention. For whatever reason, this course tortures Rory McIlroy. Now, Rory McIlroy was in the final group this tournament. Rory had the ultimate, "Oh my God, it's over. We are so back. It's over. We are so back. It's over. We are so back." Just tournament in the final round, which is incredible. He started the day with basically a 2-shot lead. After the first hole, he was down a shot. It's just he double bogeys the first hole. He goes, he gets up. He's minus 13. Everybody else is close to him at minus 9. Yes, I referenced the score. There you go. And then 4 holes later, he's now tied. Everybody's tied. Like he has a 3-way tie at like -10. So he lost it. So he gets through all of this stuff. He birdies 17. He's got a 1-stroke lead. Goes to 18. Hits it in the bunker on the green. He's trying to get up and down. He has a makeable putt to win the Masters, and he misses it. Now he has to go to a playoff. He goes to a playoff with Justin Rose. Justin Rose puts it on the green pretty well. Rory hits a shot of his life to get it within probably about, I'd say, 5 or 6 feet of the hole. Maybe even closer, maybe 3, 4 feet of the hole.
It was real close. I could have made that putt.
You think you could have made that putt? All right. And then he sinks the putt. He just basically, as soon as he makes it, wins it on the first playoff hole, like just drops to his knees and just like constant, like the fighting emotions of, I hate you so much, Masters. I can't believe I finally did this. Like, how dare you torture me this much? Like, fuck yeah, we just won. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. Like, immediate breakdown, emotion back and forth. As he's walking off the green, like, just fully spent as an emotional human being to win this tournament was something to see. And you never really see the Masters wind up in Sickos territory. And it did. This was something. I think the only other Masters that I could think that could rival this is when Greg Norman had a 6-shot lead going into the final round of the Masters, and he blew a 6-shot lead, and Nick Faldo won the Masters. That's the only thing that I can think of as being, somebody that watches golf majors every now and then.
What was the Chiron, Commish?
The Chiron, which was amazing. It says, no player has won the Masters after making 4 double bogeys or worse. And Rory McIlroy did it. 4 double bogeys this week. There isn't actually, I made a joke about this win probability for Rory. And I just took like the wildest like baseball win probability that I could find. And I just posted it. But somebody found a real one. And it kind of looked the same exact way.
They were pretty close.
Yeah. An absolute roller coaster of emotions for Rory McIlroy. And again, us sickos don't necessarily watch golf, but this was, I'm just sitting there on the timeline, and then like every other tweet is like, Rory! Oh no, Rory! Rory! Oh no! It's just like, why did you do that? Oh my God! And Rory, it was so amazing. It was awesome.
In honor of it being Easter time, the Catholic Church's shining educational institution in this country is turning water into wine. They are going to start selling booze at Notre Dame.
The blood of Christ shed for our bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
I
Take your
like
shot
the idea
and drink of me.
Of Notre Dame. Just, they sell alcohol now. It's communion wine.
Nothing but communion wine.
If it's all consecrated.
And if you're a Protestant, you can come up and receive a blessing, but you're not getting any.
You have to cross your arms over your
cross
chest.
your arms.
Yep.
Do the people selling the booze are just like at the front of the rows, and then everybody gets in line, and then they have to walk back around? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
On the plus side, the line moves super fast.
Mm-hmm. And you get a little wafer too.
Ooh, nice.
A little cracker for your troubles.
I'm sorry, I can't watch the second quarter. I have to go to confession so I can get communion by the time the fourth quarter rolls around.
Do they have confessionals at Notre Dame? If they don't, why not? A fully staffed confessional throughout the entire football game.
In the stadium. It's
Yes.
Notre Dame's version of stadium jail is the confessional.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you down there and you're just like,
Officer, I have sinned.
The crowd boos the refs too loud. A priest gets on the microphone. Everyone needs to have absolution before receiving communion today. You watch the stands just empty.
5 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers at the end of this game. Pick up your rosaries in section 123.
Bring out rosaries. A rosary cannon.
ooh.
That's a bolus. You've described a bolus.
Gonna choke some people really bad.
Oh my God.
I feel like there are some hard parts.
Yes.
Or yeah.
I mean, it's not that different than Mardi Gras beads.
True.
They don't
Do
shoot
you
Mardi Gras
shoot
beads out of
Mardi Gras
cannons.
beads out of a cannon?
Yet.
No.
It's still
No.
a handy way
No.
of keeping track of Notre Dame's championships. When was the last one? Decades and decades ago.
They used to throw Zulu coconuts, and they had to install a law that you cannot throw Zulu coconuts. They're not gonna like shoot beads out of a cannon at Mardi Gras. There are some limits.
I feel like there are a lot of movies that shoot in Louisiana. Has there ever been a movie where like there's a fight scene with Mardi Gras beads?
There has.
Someone
There
who tries to
has
choke
been.
John
Some canon movie did this.
Oh, shout out to the Canon group.
Yeah, some canon.
We got to
movie
bring that
does
back. If we ever branch out into movies, we're bringing back the Canon group.
I mean, I think Denzel Washington choked somebody with Mardi Gras beads in the Pelican Brief. No, I'm just joking. I'm just playing. That didn't happen. 21 Jump Street did it, though.
Did
No,
did
I'm just playing.
the Princess and the Frog do that?
That's right. Totally. They got the voodoo guy.
That's true.
A super underrated villain song, by the way. Friends on the Other
Friends
Side
on the Other side's a
Oh, yeah.
bop. Good song.
really slaps.
I think the guy who ranked Disney songs ranked that one fairly highly.
Yeah,
We
most people don't think of it,
No,
but it is a super creepy villain song.
very much.
Up there with my favorite Disney villain song, Oogie Boogie song from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Does that count?
Sure.
What part doesn't count?
I am aware
Are we
that
about to
The Nightmare Before Christmas is technically a Disney movie.
Yeah, it
Not
wasn't
just
Disney.
like-
when
it
was
is a
made.
Disney
It is a Disney movie. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was
Was it
not a
Dis-
Disney acquisition. That was a Disney funded that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were the songs from Nightmare Before Christmas included in the Disney song ranking?
They were not.
No,
Because you wouldn't have included those.
He wasn't using stop animation. Stop. Wow. You could tell I'm tired.
Had
Stop
to
motion
be.
animation.
It had to be
Yeah.
like either the 3D or the 2D.
Okay.
We have other things, including SEMO in Eastern Illinois. They played 5 hours and 15 minutes of baseball, which is so
Yeah.
much baseball.
That was a lot of baseball. The main
one
thing
needs
from
to
this
play
game,
baseball.
I wanted to give a shout out for this one, is our friends at 11.7 pointed this out. They went to 19 innings. There were 0 runs between the 7th and 19th inning. Eastern Illinois was able to win this game 6-3. Basically, there was 12 shutout.
This is that classic tweet about
Joe
that
Buck.
one.
Yeah.
Joe Buck just
Joe Buck.
sun. Welcome to the top of the 25th. Sun rises, earth
The
burns.
47th inning. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
They-
World in golf by flag. Oh God, yes.
They should have played this game with a running clock.
They should have. They refused.
Other baseball news today. There were bees
Mhm.
in one of the Rice dugouts.
Bees?
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently
UFS visitor dugout.
Yeah.
so
Which apparently
Right.
Spencer Hall eradicated.
yes. There's a video of this person removing it with their bare hands.
And not like quickly swiping it off the
No,
dugout.
just like
I'm gonna
Look
pick
at
up
it.
a nest with 10,000 bees in it and trust them not to sting me.
You can see the bees buzzing around too. It's not like this was a tenanted house.
he relocated the hive/swarm, which apparently everybody on Blue Sky was trying to get me technical. It's like, hey, this is not cool. And I'm like, he moved it, safely moved it. It was like, I love that there was a picture of him walking with the bees in like the transport for the hive, so to speak, and it's a picture of him in front of like a bouncy castle. So someone's like, did he move
was
into
gonna
the
walk
bouncy
straight
castle?
back there? Yeah, look, he's
Yeah,
going
it's like-
straight back there.
It's just like, no.
What else do we want to close with, Commish? The hot dog or the Pikachu dance?
No, we got a couple more things here. So just somebody wrote a blog about the thing that we talked about, the land of 10,000 calories.
This is a really good read.
This is a
I read the whole
fantastic
thing.
read. It's from Heavy Table, written by Eli Radke. If you can find it, do it. Read it. It's fantastic. The name of the blog is called Hot Dog Hell. a tasting tour of the St. Paul Saints 6-foot dog. I just clipped a little bit out of this, which is a little excerpt of what Eli wrote. He goes, French fries, and the other was lined with 38 jalapeno poppers. In total, this dog came out of the kitchen weighing an estimated 28 pounds.
That's so much food.
Once it was ready, I looked over, doing some quick math in my head, and asked Chef JC if it was actually 10,000 calories. Hell no, he laughed. It's way more than that.
No shit.
This is a fantastic read. Our corn correspondent is going to try to make it up there in May to do this. I think Norm Charlatan, one of our followers and residents in that area, are going to try to do something like this. I asked them to take heed and the advice from this. They said that they were the first folks to essentially finish the dog in this blog. So you can only get 3 per game. You have to order in advance. They bring it out to you in sections and like little boats to eat in your seats where, you know, you're going to have onlookers watch you try to eat this thing, which is absolutely incredible. And if we got to pitch in for the corn correspondent, we'll definitely do that.
What?
Check the chat.
We're not talking about the canoe anymore.
No.
Canoe.
Nope.
Another thing that happened this weekend. So I'm just, watching normal soccer whatsoever on Saturday, and I come across this on the r/soccer Reddit. Apparently, the Indian Super League final had a Pokemon halftime show since Pokemon sponsored the game. This is like a 1.5 minute Pokemon halftime show. If you want to watch it in its entirety, we got some time. We can do that. But
we have the whole thing. Let's just watch a little bit of it.
Okay.
Indian Super League Cup final. It'll be exciting to see Pikachu. Let's see what our friend in yellow is up to.
We're getting down.
Yeah, gentle listener, there are 5 dancing Pikachu just sort of cavorting around center field of soccer stadium.
I think if we get to my favorite part, it's almost here. Like they all turn around. Like here we go. This is when they start cooking here. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Making it right there. They're about to turn. There it is.
Oh
Woo!
yeah.
That is like
so. Like, imagine if your college basketball dance team was just 5 giant Pikachus.
It's absolutely amazing.
It might be better in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
We love to see it. Honestly, more of this. More Pikachus.
More Pikachu.
In general.
More Pikachu halftime shows. What other Pokemon would be good halftime shows?
Oh, there are so many.
So many Pikachus.
A bunch of Meowths.
Mm.
Could you do would that be for like a Wildcat team? You have a bunch of Meowths?
I want a bunch of Pikachus, but one of them's a Ditto. And they have the Ditto face.
That would be really good.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, time to bring back Ditto Face.
Ditto face.
Arthur, you went to the Pitt spring game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting because the actual spring game was pretty unchanged from what it's been in the past. They played, I think it was like 2-hand touch, or I don't know what the specific thing. There was not supposed to be tackling. I think it's kind of funny that you have this in like all-star games and I guess spring games as well, where you'll have the one player who's a little too into it. You know what I mean? Like you got the one guy like actually playing defense in like the all-star game or something like that. So
that's the guy that takes it way too seriously at the at your local gym when you're playing basketball against them. Yes, okay, I get that.
Exactly. So you're always going to have one of those. I think it's probably healthy to have one of those on the team. Like that seems like a guy you need on your team.
For sure.
So for Pitt, it was linebacker Kyle Lewis, who also threw a touchdown pass.
See?
So yeah, I mean, he was just doing stuff.
So I listened to the radio broadcast of this game because it was not on ACC Network this year. In part, I suspect because it was not a full contact live game as it had been for the last few years. Pat Narduzzi described the level of contact for this game as, quote, thud. So
Okay.
you're hitting the guy, but you're not trying to run him into the ground, basically. The thing is, though, and it was interesting to listen to the radio broadcast, but like spring game TV broadcasts, there was not a lot of description of what was going on the field. And so it was we're interviewing the new athletic director. We're going to talk about how great Kenny Pickett is because he's an honorary coach for this game or whatever. And so I found out from Blue Sky that Kyle Lewis had thrown a touchdown pass during the spring game. They very rarely talked about what the score was or what was happening. I listened to most of the broadcast.
Well, the thing that I thought was more interesting, so they did something new for the first time. They had an event before the spring game where it was basically they had a bunch of different stations set up for season ticket holders and boosters. So there were very photo stations. There was one that was supposed to be get your photo taken with the basketball team, but it was here's two guys because everyone else is transferred.
Two guys, and you have not heard of either of them. Yes, of course.
The one I know who Cam Corhan is. I know who he is.
Oh, yes.
So that there was, I was there's the one guy I know that's still here. I was actually I was okay, yeah, he is still here. He hasn't transferred because he was there. But they had, various tables set up for you could talk to your ticket rep. The NIL collective was notably absent because there was signage, but then they weren't there. But and then they had a Q&A session with with Pat Narduzzi, the head coach, and the athletic director, so you could ask your questions. They were kind of trying to nudge you toward some softballs, but it was interesting because we've talked about ways that what is the spring game going to be in the future, what are teams trying to do. So I thought it was interesting to see what Pitt was trying. It was the first time they've done something like this, so I can definitely see some areas where maybe they could run it a little more smoothly next time.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to see them kind of put forth that effort to have something besides the actual football game happen at the spring game, just to make it an event for the people that are giving the money, or they're trying to get them to give them money.
Okay, last thing we have is our sperm racing.
Do we need to talk about the sperm racing, or can we just push that to the next?
No, we need to talk about the sperm racing because the listeners need to know about the diagram.
So basically, I have no idea how real this is. Real in the sense of this will ever actually happen. But apparently these guys have raised $1 million for this sperm racing league where it's exactly what it sounds like. There's microscopes, I guess, and you race.
Mm-hmm.
This is from KTLA, by the way. This is not fake news, as far as I know.
No, and we could read, yeah. So there's a startup and whatever else, and we could read from it. But the thing that is relevant here is that there is a graphic inside the news article that is described as a rendering of what this will look like. And listener, it looks like something a 7th grader drew.
I want to say there's a couple lines in the KTLA article about this that really kind of put up some red flags for me.
A lot.
It says the sperm racing website's manifesto. Manifesto is in quotes, so I don't know if that means that the website itself says it's a manifesto, or if KTLA is calling this a manifesto.
Oh, that's a red flag.
But the quote I like is
there's a lot of red flags here.
male fertility is declining like a lot. It's happening quietly, steadily, and no one's really talking about it. I'm sorry, but I feel like people talk about this all the time.
I'm just looking at the people that are involved that raise this 1 million. Two are involved in crypto.
Yeah,
There's a lot of words really in the whole article, but also in their bios that do not appear in the Bible.
There's another one that's a part of the Mr. Beast dude or whatever.
Yeah, no shit.
This seems like this is. I mean, I have no idea how this drawing raised 1 million, but whatever.
I mean, this is very like step 1, this, step 2, this, step 3, question mark, step 4, profit.
Then the people are gonna bet on this. This is just such.
I mean, yes.
Apparently, the first race is supposedly going to take place on April 25th. It is USC versus UCLA. So
tickets go on sale at noon on Monday.
A Big Ten battle. The Big Ten, you signed up for this.
Do I have to put this on my national champions non-NCAA sheet?
No.
Oh God! Also, there's a link at the bottom of the article, and I'm going to regret clicking the link, but I did click the link.
I clicked the link.
The world's first ever sperm race. 1,000 plus seats, 100 VIPs, 1 arena. Tickets go on sale in 14 hours and 54 minutes as of time of recording, and you can put your phone number in to get notified. I will not be doing that. You can also click the link to read the manifesto, which I am going to regret doing, but I have clicked the link.
I already read it.
The National Institute for Spermatozoa Exploration.
That is not a real thing, but okay.
It has a very legit looking logo on this website, Commish.
So does Beth Virginia University.
Imagine attending a live sporting event where you cannot actually see anything from your seats because you have to, it's looking through a microscope.
Oh my God. The fucking diagram is also on here as part of the manifesto.
Yeah.
That's their proof of concept.
It's also the view from your seat.
Yeah, Beth.
I love how this says.
Pitt Girl. Mm-hmm. Why are men?
Exactly.
Every day I wake up and ask myself this question. And now you can too.
Do you think a woman is involved in any of this?
No.
Absolutely not.
Can't be, right?
None.
No.
None listed.
There is not a woman within 500 yards of this project.
Not at all.
Legally?
By law.
By law, probably. This is... Yikes.
What do you get if you win the sperm race?
I don't want to know.
A child?
Turn into my least favorite form of eugenics, and that's really saying something.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, how have they made eugenics worse?
Oh.
Like this, I guess.
Folks, that's what we have time for tonight. Go and share that knowledge with someone else.
Just ruin their day with the diagram drawn by a middle schooler that could raise $1 million for something like this.
And get ready to bet on sperm.